Hey guys, what is going on? It is Crypto Bobby. Hope you are having a great day, great night, wherever you are watching in from. Really interesting day in the marketplace right now. Bitcoin has taken, at one point in time, a double-digit dip. A lot of other cryptocurrencies have followed suit behind Bitcoin, taking a either equal dip or even heavier dip. And then a couple cryptos out there, a couple crypto assets have performed pretty well. One of my largest holdings, actually by fiat value now, my largest holding, Cardano, has pretty much saved my day personally, outperforming everything on on-chain FX, a lot of the other cryptocurrencies on CoinMarketCap as well. So Cardano is saving my butt today, but basically every other crypto I have out of the 8 crypto assets that I have in my portfolio, 7 are down, 1 is doing well. So talk a little bit about that. Ripple has continued its ridiculous move, not necessarily ridiculous in the bad sense, but just kind of in my opinion, shocking. At one point in time, it was over $100 billion in valuation, up to $2.85. It's pulled back about 28% or so, but still over $9 billion more valuable at the present time in terms of market capitalization or current market capitalization than Ethereum. So Ripple is, at this point in time, I don't want to say firmly the number 2 crypto out there, but definitely pretty high up in nature. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And also Bitcoin continuing to lose market dominance right now, at least from the perspective of CoinMarketCap and their market dominance here. I'll pull this up, but we're seeing at this point in time, Bitcoin's market dominance is actually at less than 40%, so 38.8%. At one point in time, this was up to pretty recently, this was over 60%. I want to say, how long ago is that? Actually, in December, this was well over 60%. Now we're seeing sub 40% Bitcoin in terms of the market dominance. So Bitcoin is lagging behind while a lot of other altcoins are pumping pretty hard. And I think it's pretty clear that money is flowing from Bitcoin into the altcoins, and people are looking for outsized returns that they're not seeing in Bitcoin. They're trying to find that in things like Ripple, in things like Cardano, in a number of other crypto assets out there. So pretty interesting progression that we'll get into today as we go through this process. And looking at, I'm going to pull up the daily information here on on-chain FX. If you're listening on the podcast, sorry you can't see this, but so number one on on-chain FX, granted they only have about 60 plus or so crypto assets available, a little bit more limited than CoinMarketCap, but Cardano is kind of far and away leading the charge today, which is great for me. As you guys have seen my portfolio, it's always visible on my website, but if you see my portfolio, that was my second largest holding in comparison to Bitcoin. It's actually pretty close to even today with Bitcoin as far as a fiat percentage because of how high Cardano has shot up and the overall number of the size of my position in Cardano. So Cardano has risen 45% against Bitcoin in the past 24 hours, 30% US dollar wise. Still a little bit off the all-time high, about 11% off the all-time high that it hit yesterday, but I've been pretty happy with that move. I was accumulating pretty heavily in the 40 cent, 38 cent range on top of the position that I built when it was 3 cents and then added to it 15 cents. So I've kind of continued to accumulate Cardano, and I've been pretty happy about this. A couple different people have asked, where are you looking to potentially sell Cardano? And for me right now, and I've said this before, and I've gotten a couple comments even recently on this, but people have asked where are you looking to take profit on Cardano, and for me, Cardano is a longer-term hold. It's still very early on in the life cycle, probably even more early on than the valuation might justify, but it is still super early on in terms of what they're doing and how developed their, the Cardano network is in general. So I am not taking profits yet personally, but I will preface it because a couple different people have said, like, Bobby, you're just the biggest advocate of holding, and you tell people to never sell, and you encourage all this FOMO and all this type of stuff. That's definitely not the type of approach that I ever want to take. I think there's absolutely nothing wrong with taking profit, regardless of what crypto you buy, regardless of where you take profit. There's zero wrong with taking profit anytime on the planet, and don't let anybody ever tell you otherwise. But the kind of the day trading, or I do a little bit of swing trading here and there, but like the day trading and especially like the technical analysis, I'm not an expert at that. I don't pretend to be an expert in that. I'm not going to throw lines on a chart just to pretend like I'm smart. There are a lot of people that are phenomenal at TA and charting and all that stuff. That's not me. That is not my style. That is not what I can do. So at least for the time being. So if you want that type of information, there are plenty of people out there that can provide that for you. But just overall speaking, I am into, a couple, like I said, a couple different people have said, you just advocate holding all day long. And I don't advocate that at all. I think you should take profit. And if you want to take profit, do that. But for me, when people ask specifically about Cardano, I think that it is a longer-term play for me, and I think that even if it has pumped pretty significantly, and even if it'll pull back, which it certainly can pull back. I mean, it's pumped 45% against Bitcoin today. Would a pullback be likely? Yeah, absolutely. I do think a pullback would be likely, but I'm not going to, at this point in time, sell my Cardano, and if it does pull back significantly or slightly, I might even look to add more to my position just because I'm looking at this as more of a longer-term play. On the other end of the spectrum, though, too, the big crypto of the day, or really of the past couple of days, has been Ripple. And Ripple is up 4% against Bitcoin, but down about 6% US dollar-wise, and that is down 28% off of its all-time highs right now. And there's a lot of crazy debate right now going on about Ripple. Whether it is new people getting into the space and really liking Ripple, or if it's kind of like the Bitcoin OGs, the Bitcoin maximalists that hate Ripple because it's associated with banks, and in a lot of respects, it is kind of against the libertarian initial crypto ethos of Bitcoin, where kind of initial stages of Bitcoin were very much F the big banks, we support Occupy Wall Street, we do all this type of stuff, and we're trying to create a digital currency that is going to skirt the big banks and skirt the governments. And Ripple is openly saying, hey, we want to work with the big banks, and we want to embrace that type of, we want to embrace that love. And at this point in time, I mean, XRP is worth over close to $80 billion, which is incredible. But the valuation, I mean, at least for me, I talked a little bit about it previously, but I personally thought, and I was wrong, at least for the time being, but I was definitely wrong. I missed out on a ton of profits. I thought Ripple was overvalued when it was back at a $10 billion market cap and worth probably 25 cents. Now it's worth $2. I still don't, that doesn't change my opinion. And I don't think that should too. So I think when you're looking at a crypto, and if you don't like it, but the price spikes, that doesn't change anything fundamentally for you. And again too, I'm not hating on Ripple at all. It's incredible to see the level of spike that it's had. I mean, it's up 8x since just basically since the month of December. But it was something that I personally wasn't really interested in when it was at 25 cents. But the fact that it spiked 8x, why would I buy it after it spiked 8x? And I've lost out on all those basically all that opportunity, while everybody else that has purchased previously has made those gains. So that even now I'm less interested perhaps in, I could be wrong, and I could be looking at this and saying, hey, it's now I'm just missing out on more gains and more gains. But Ripple is, at least for me personally, it's not the most appealing crypto asset to me. But again, like I said, that doesn't mean that it's not for everybody or that it's not for a good number of people. And I do think it has a ton of appeal, especially now too. I think that one of the big trends that we're seeing and we're going to continue to see is there are so many new people getting into crypto, whether it's through something like CoinBase or Gemini or wherever, and they're buying Bitcoin, they're buying Ethereum, and they're looking at these assets and they're saying, hey, Bitcoin is $13,000 now, Ethereum is $700 now. They might not look at the supply, they might not look at the total supply, not the issued supply, but the total supply of the market cap or the total supply of the crypto asset. They might not look at the fundamentals of the partnership. They might not look at the technology. They probably don't look at a lot of things. They're just looking at the price, and they're making decisions based off that. And they're saying, hey, Bitcoin is this expensive, Ethereum is this expensive. What is the next Bitcoin? What is the next Ethereum? And that is definitely pumping cryptocurrencies right now. I don't think there's any way to say that it's not. Obviously, there's a lot of institutional money coming to the space too, but I mean, this type of movement with Ripple has just been crazy. And again, I'll definitely say it too. I've said it before. I'll say it again. It goes to show that you can have one of these crypto. There are, let's see how many cryptocurrencies right now that have over $1 billion market cap. Let's scroll down and see. So right now, at least on CoinMarketCap, there are 31 crypto assets, 31 cryptocurrencies, whatever you want to call them, tokens, that have over $1 billion market cap. 31. It goes to show that you don't need to scroll all the way down on CoinMarketCap down to, let's scroll all the way down and see what's going on. Let's find somebody. It goes to show that you don't have to go to, number 642 to find Trollcoin that is valued at $1.3 million and is trading at $1,000 $1,000 24-hour volume. You don't have to scroll all the way down there to find an 8-10x return. You could have done that with something like Ripple. It's possible with something like Cardano. It's possible with something like Bitcoin Cash. There are a lot of cryptos that have been worth multiple $billion. Litecoin is another one. IOTA was another one. There have been numerous cryptocurrencies that have been over $1 billion that have pumped very hard. So it's been interesting to see that a lot of people, I think, traditionally look at these smaller assets and say, I'm not going to make the returns that I would or that I want to with these big cryptocurrencies. Yet something like Ripple that was worth already $10 billion is now worth $80 billion in terms of the just market capitalization in general right now. So something I think interesting just when you're overall looking at things. And I haven't made any specific moves to my portfolio in the past 24 hours too. I'll definitely say that. Bitcoin is obviously down in 9% in the past 24 hours. Is that a little bit concerning? Yeah, I think it is. I don't think there's any way that you could look at this and be like, hey, it's not concerning. It's down 11% in the past 7 days. So it's not that crazy in terms of just the last 7 days in general. But when you look at the monthly, in the past month, Bitcoin is kind of where we'll pull it up on the chart here. So let me pull this up quickly. So Bitcoin in the past month started off the last 30 days. I mean, it was basically right at $10,000 and we're up to $13,000. So while it looks scary, while it looks terrible that we went all the way up to close to $20,000, sold off, basically built all the way back up to $20,000, and are now looking at maybe not the most bullish trend. It looks like the market for Bitcoin at least is cooling off. I do think that if you zoom out, look at the past month, and then you look at the past 3 months, it's not worth completely panicking, but I think that in the long run, or at least not necessarily in the long run, in the short term, people might start to be looking at altcoins and people might start to get everything is hot until it's not. And Bitcoin was super hot for the month of September, or for really the month of like mid-September all the way through mid-December. Like you couldn't slow Bitcoin down from October all the way down to, or all the way up to mid-December. But now you're seeing I would say a little bit of a sell-off and definitely a cooling off in Bitcoin. And I do think that a lot of that money is going into altcoins. You're looking at that with Ripple. You're looking at that with Cardano. You're seeing it with Stellar Lumens. You're seeing it with a lot of these crypto assets out there. So I'm still building. I'm not selling my position, and a lot of that is, quite frankly, due to tax reasons. I don't want to take those gains right now. And I think that could potentially cause a dip, even a greater dip in January, is a lot of people are holding off now because they don't want to pay capital gains tax in 2017. So they're holding off until 2018, and then they might take that profit, get out of the market for the time being in January, because traditionally the crypto markets haven't been great in January. So I'm being cautious right now, but I'm not making any moves. And I think that we could certainly dip a bit lower. We have, there is some support with Bitcoin at $10,000, but if that goes below, I think you're going to see a pretty concerted sell-off. But I'm not too worried for the time being, although January should be we're 2 days away from January. But how those taxes affect, I think a lot of people have mentioned in the either in the Facebook group or on Twitter in the comments saying, hey, all these people are going to get their money from taxes and they're going to put that in and it's going to raise the price of crypto. I personally think that the opposite is going to happen. I think a lot of people are holding off selling in 2017 because they don't want to pay taxes, all the capital gains taxes that they've made for 2017. They want to delay that out to have to pay that in April of 2019 or March of 2019. So they might wait to sell until January, so they don't have to pay that 40% or 20% or whatever that might be. So I think that's going to be something interesting. Long term, just keeping an eye, for me personally, just keeping an eye on things as much as possible. The total market capitalization, the dominance I think is fascinating. It's basically at the lowest point, like I said before. It's pretty much right now at the lowest point it's ever been, it's ever been. It's very close to when the old Ethereum flippening was happening in mid-June. So I think at the worst, it was around 38, 37%, which is where we're at right now. And this has been pretty fascinating. So I'm curious to see if Ripple is able to hold where it is now, and if Ethereum can hold, and if Cardano continues to grow and these multi-billion-dollar market cap coins erode the dominance of Bitcoin, or Bitcoin is just gearing up, consolidating, and kind of heading back a little bit farther back towards that March to 20K. So should be an exciting new year for sure. Should be an exciting month of January, but I'm definitely staying tuned. I would certainly recommend that you do as well. And if you are new to the channel by any chance, hit that subscribe button, the notify bell. I do daily videos on the subject of crypto. Sorry, this one was a little bit late, on vacation today, so coming to you in a hotel room, no transparent background or anything like that. But hit that subscribe button, the notify bell, so that you get the new content when it does come out, as well as when I do the YouTube live crypto happy hours. Thank you guys so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. Crypto Bobby signing out. Peace.